Greetings, hey guys, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, greetings, hi. If not, thank you for coming back. My name is Noni, this is the Daddy Issues Club. And of course, today's discussion is all about boys, daddy issues, relationships, the lessons I learned, and what information I can impart on you so that you don't do what I did. It was not it, babes. It was just not it, babe. Yeah, I'm just gonna quickly remind you to like and subscribe. It really helps the YouTube algorithm know if I'm doing an alright job. So if you do like this video, if you are into it, just remember to drop a like, drop a little subscribe. And if you're so inclined, please press the notification bell so you always get a little notification when I have uploaded a video. Firstly, I am in the kitchen because I always want to be near snacks and near tea. And I have my little microphone, it's a pencil from Typo, from my best friend. But I've decided, because what I have to say is extra important, I need to be, you see this? I even have a stool. You see here. Each section of this video will comprise of a lesson that I learned based on each relationship that I was in, and how the daddy issues sort of came into play with that. And then at the end of the video, if you would like to just skip straight to that, I'll have timestamps in the video. You can skip straight to the 5 dating tips or dating advice that I would give, firstly, anyone who is, in the field, but also to my younger self, who in her early 20s, she was given all this advice, but she just didn't take it. And luckily all of these relationships were super short-lived. They were like each a minute long, but the lessons I learned were hard and they were very deep. So skip to wherever you like, but we're here, we're doing it. First of all, let's talk about daddy issues. Let's talk about what they are, what I think about them, the psychology behind them. Daddy issues is a term that's very loosely thrown around, used very casually, usually to refer to women who date older men, seem to have sketchy relationships, or women who are freer with their bodies and how they express themselves in that way. I feel like there are some things I can't say on YouTube, so I'm just being very careful with how I word it, but you know what I mean. However, in my opinion, the term daddy issues is a term that deflects the seriousness of the issue because it's an uncomfortable topic, right? So we make light of it. I mean, my channel is also, doing that, making light of a more serious situation. B, it's a term that mostly shames women for the things I have mentioned earlier, such as dating older men, being a little more loose or freer with your body. I just don't like the connotations of that word, but you know what I mean in terms of the context of this conversation. And I feel that it's a term that places the burden on women instead of, assessing the situation or the system that results in so many women and so many men not having the proper father-daughter, father-child, father-son dynamic. C, I probably said this earlier, but it's a term that applies to men too, so it will alienate a certain group of people while again still making light of a much more serious and deeper issue that affects real people in the real world. In psychology, there is no such thing as daddy issues. It's not a real term. In fact, a therapist here on YouTube, her name is Katie Morton, explains that daddy issues psychologically are essentially a form of attachment issues. She then goes to list all the different attachment types, and she also has videos where she explains that. I will link those down below or up here in the cards just so that you can have a little bit more context if you would like to do a bit more research on that. Katie Morton explains that attachment issues are issues that arise when there are problems between a caretaker, so it doesn't necessarily have to be your mom and dad, but whoever takes care of you, and you being the child. So if there are issues between the caretaker and the caregiver, if there are issues there, you might have attachment issues. All right, so LMAO, let us get into it. When I was in first year, when I was 19, My best friend alluded to the fact that I may or may not have daddy issues. Love you so much, babe. Linz. Mwah. And I mean, obviously she was right, but at the time, because I took it as something with very negative connotations, as I mentioned earlier, I was like, what is she even talking about? Babe, no. Like, this doesn't apply to me. It just doesn't apply to me. And part of that was because I hadn't at that time even had my first kiss yet. I had my first kiss at like 22 or something. So I was like confused. But what she was saying, if I can tie it in to the psychology that I just spoke about, what she was saying was that I had attachment issues. And at that time, I had no business trying to date or be in a relationship. And she was right. It was like, I'm not listening, babe. I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna go ahead, push the boundaries, and then come crying to you after. And that's what happened. And so that was the beginning of it was a small amount of self-awareness, but I didn't really do anything with that information, and I wish I had. Lesson number 1 that I learned from boyfriend number 1 at that time. If the shoe doesn't fit, it means you're not the princess. Okay? You can't fix it. You can't change your foot. You can't change the situation. If the shoe doesn't fit, you're not the princess. And this is not your happily ever after. And that's really just the end of it. I started dating this guy. He was a little bit older than me, but we were in the same, peer group, maybe, age bracket. And, as a first love, I was not very cautious with my feelings. I think that's quite normal. You don't come in necessarily always with the same reservations or lessons that you've learned in that first time, because there's nothing to compare it to. So we were totally together, but as I said, I just wasn't ready, and in my opinion, he was super emotionally unavailable, and I had just overlooked certain things, and I was also just one of those people at the time who was trying to fix and control, and I was projecting all of my stuff onto this person, and we also just weren't compatible. You can't just bulldoze into love, you can't just and I thought, you know what, I can fix this. I can keep this together. I'm an overachiever. This must be like an assignment. Like this person, this relationship, I'm sure I can find solution. Yourself can't be wrapped up in that sort of dynamic, and that ended, and it was hard and it sucked, and I'm fine again. Alrighty. Let's talk, guys. Let's sit here. Red flags are a sign to abort mission. Red flags are not a sign to fix the mission, to alter the mission, to even go they're a sign to abort mission. It is finished. It's done, okay? So I got into a situationship. We know rebound vibes. Red flag number 1. Red flag number 1 was that this person called himself alpha male AF. Like, I'm embarrassed even saying it out loud. Red flag was number 2 was this person had just gotten out of a long-term, so a 4-year, very serious relationship, like just gotten out. Red flag number 3 was that he said, I love you on the second date, which, I mean, no, you don't. You don't know me. I could be like a serial killer. I could be here to empty your wallet and hit the road. Red flag number 3 was that I said it back because I was toxic too. Red flag number 4 was that he said that even though he did say he loved me, he did not want to put a label on the relationship. Guys, it's not. Where was my thinking? Where was the engineering? Where was the I remember on the day it ended, I called my bestie, Ailens, and I said to her, I just have this weird feeling, this intuition that it's going to happen and I'm not coping with it. And she said to me, you have exams now. Books, not boys. And I was like, damn straight. And I got all A's. Sometimes all you need is a really good friend to just put some things in perspective. Lesson number 3 is to heal first and recognize your patterns. But also that you cannot love people into loving you. That no matter how much love I had to pour, even if it was from my wounds, no amount of love can force reciprocation. I don't know if that's the word. No amount of you pouring into someone will force them to give it back the same way. My patterns were all about fixing, codependency, wanting that external validation from that person so that I could also work on a project. It was like these people were my project. That's toxic. I was toxic too. It's fine. Now we know. It's just be cool. Just be cool. Preserve your love, be cool. This guy, he was, a player. He was good with the ladies. He told me outright that he had never been faithful just to one, to any of his girlfriends. Well, he's never been, good to these people, but I'm amazing. I'm sure I can be so wonderful and love him so hard that he will, put that back in for me and he won't cheat, but he did cheat. Other issues were of very racist parents, very, very difficult racial and very traumatizing dynamics and maybe low-key racist vibes. When it's undercover, you know what I mean? When the racism is down here, more like, you are so pretty, you're one of the prettiest black girls I've ever seen. Oh, why did I think that was a compliment? Also, after some therapy, I learned that this person is a narcissist or was a narcissist. And so a person who is codependent and a person who is a narcissist will often attract each other because all of your worst parts are compatible. And so you engage in this sort of it's a trauma bond type of vibe. And that was also another thing I had to deal with. I felt that would put me at risk of some other things, I'm not even gonna say, but and you shouldn't feel like you can't say particular things when you're with a person that you love and who loves you. It should be a safe, gentle space. That's the tea. Don't do what I did. Stay away from F-boys. If people are not cool to communicate or reciprocate your love, don't just throw it out there, Don't just throw it out there. It's okay to take things slow. And at the end of the day, the love of your life is you. So now for those 5 tips I have for dating in your early 20s. I have notes over here, so if I look down every now and again, it's just because I'm making sure I am getting everything right. Right, so tip number 1 would be wait as long as possible to start dating. You have your whole life to spend with someone else, but you'll be spending your whole life with you as well. I would actually say that your early 20s are for investing in yourself and not in somebody else at all. Selflessness, nope. Selfishness, yes. Travel, get an education, develop your damn frontal lobe, learn your likes, learn your dislikes, learn your wounds, learn your patterns. Learn to see yourself as who you are and let somebody come into that and enjoy it with you. I spent so much time in those early 20s chasing those people as if I wasn't surrounded by so much love and beauty already. Point number 2 is to take things really, 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 really slow. Don't stop doing things you like when you meet somebody, and don't stop hanging out with your friends. I learned this the hard way. I had a really special friend that I lost as a result of just ghosting. Hey guys, my battery died, my camera's acting real funny, and the sound was starting to get super sketchy. So I decided I need to film this right now on my phone. So the quality is not super awesome. Here's my microphone setup. But tip number 3 is that it is okay to wait for physical intimacy, and it's also okay if you don't want to wait. I was 22 when I had my first kiss, and I wouldn't have had it any other way. It's really okay to just do things at your own pace. See what you want, see what you like, see what you don't like, but don't be forced or pressured into doing anything that you just don't want to do. Tip number 4 is that if the person you're with can't engage in difficult or complicated relationships, like about, race, class, masculinity, children, then boy, bye. Let it go, because you won't be able to engage with those conversations a lot later on as they get more and more important, as life gets more complicated, as you guys get older and merge your lives together, and it shows a lack of emotional maturity. And tip number 4 is that knowing when to let go is a skill, and it has to be practiced. You will always have to let go. And some people are not meant to be in our lives forever. So know when the time, when your intuition, when the universe is saying to you, you know what, now is the time to let this go. If you made it all the way to the end, thank you so much. Mwah! Please remember to like and subscribe. Like I said earlier, it really helps the algorithm know what's up. Mwah.